Hey guys, welcome back to another Big Boy Builds video. This is part 6 of the series. If you guys aren't familiar with Big Boy Builds, well, it's a series where I showcase interesting builds submitted by you guys. The purpose of the series is to promote creative ways of building your favorite units. Now, there were a lot of cool and amazing builds this time around, but unfortunately only 10 get to make it in. After I cover the 10 most interesting builds, I'll leave some honorable mentions for you guys to see near the end of this video. Starting off is Diaz Male Grima. This is a very well thought out set, and I'll try to explain how it works. Okay, so I think this set is best used on the player phase first, but it depends on the enemy's team comp. Bold Fighter grants him the ability to double on the player phase and also grants Grima an extra special charge whenever he performs an attack. That being said, when he attacks a foe, Escutcheon goes from 2 to 0 charges and will be ready to activate when the foe counterattacks. Escutcheon will then reduce the counterattack damage by 30%. Now, that 30% damage reduction might not sound like a lot, but it's actually useful for some unfavorable matchups like Falchion Lords and Sword units with Armor Slayer. For example, without Escutcheon, a plus 10 merged neutral Alm will deal just enough damage or 56 damage to this Grima on the counterattack and kill him. With Escutcheon, Alm's damage is reduced by 16, so he only deals 40, which means Grima survives and can continue on to perform his second attack, which, by the way, charges Escutcheon back up and gets it ready for the enemy phase. If Grima attacks someone other than Falchion Lords and Armor Slayer foes, then he'll probably just take very little damage, but anyways. So after that initial fight, Dark Breath's effect and Red Smoke activates and reduces the nearby enemy's attack, speed, and resistance stat by 7. So on the following enemy phase, if one of the debuff enemies so happens to be a melee unit and tries to attack into Grima, Escutcheon activates, reduces the damage by 30%, and hopefully that's enough to keep Grima alive. Dia talked about Home Dragons with this set, which essentially increases Grima's speed to 39 if you also take into account the 7 speed reduction from Dark Breath. Buffs are going to be fairly important for this guy since he lacks defensive combat skills. I'm not a big fan of replacing strong default weapons and skills like Expiration and Vengeful Fighter. I like to build around them, but if you guys have the resources and are willing to do something like this, then be my guest. Next is Ellen's Lyon. She gave him a bunch of skills. It's a pretty straightforward enemy phase build. Candelabra and Close Defense increases his defensive stats by 8 on the enemy phase, so his defensive stats totals at 39 and 42. 49 HP is good enough to run Infantry Pulse. Aether is probably mainly there just for arena points because this Lyon set doesn't have any cooldown reduction skills, nor does it have quicker posts, so it's going to take a couple fights before Lyon can activate Aether. Guard is there to slow down the enemy's special charging rate, which is extremely important for this set. If Lyon is on a defensive tile with buffs, he's not going to take a lot of damage from normal attacks. At that point, specials are the only things that will deal a good chunk of damage. My issue with this set is its inability to 1-round KO. 49 attack isn't that high, and with no quicker post, he's not going to 1-round KO that many units. Not to say that this set does not work, but you will have to have the right surrounding cast around him. You gotta use him more like a bruiser. In some cases, probably mostly against greens and a few reds. On the enemy phase, he can tank 2 hits and counterattack once, then finish the same target off on the following player phase. He'll then have 4 special charges, so then on the second enemy phase, use him to tank another enemy, which will get him his 5th special charge, and when he counterattacks, he'll pop his Aether. From my experience, I learned that the longer you keep the enemies alive, then the more problems you might end up having with your arena match, which is why I recommend builds and skill sets that can 1-round KO. These non-1-round KOing sets still work and are viable, but you just have to be more careful. Anyways, she made a montage video showcasing her Candelabra Lyon, so if you want to check that out, then it'll be in the description. The build in that video is slightly different. It runs Iceberg instead of Aether, but the core is the same. Here is Gator's Cherche. This one is plus speed. I actually want to build a second Cherche that's plus speed, but I haven't had any luck in summoning one yet. Slowing Hammer, Swift Barrel, Wings of Mercy, Double Spur, and Guidance 3. It looks like a mixed team player face set. I'm certain that this set can 1-round KO all kinds of armory units, including the red ones like Zelgius and Black Knight, if she's able to double them, of course. Outside of Armor Emblem, she's still great against blues, greens, and some reds with low defense. Wings of Mercy and Guidance increases mobility for herself and to allies, and when she has nothing to do, she grants an ally plus 6 defense and resistance with the combination of her assist and C-slot skill. A great example of someone salvaging a hero with middling speed. It would be even better if she was summoner supported because she benefits from all of the extra stats. Next is Michalis, Poleaxe Plus, Aether, DC, Guard, Attack Tactic, and IOD Shield, looking like a mixed emblem anti-cav set. The question is, can he survive Reinhardt? And the answer is yes. He can also survive Brave Lyn, but Michalis can't counterattack because of Sakei's blessing, so that's a shame. But yes, he can still survive Brave Lyn. I mean, there's not much to say about this set. There's some ranged cavaliers that you can take out on the enemy phase by baiting. For Brave Lyn, he's going to have to use him on the player phase and one-shotter. Here's Robin with a similar build as Ellen's Lyon. The difference is that this one has an Owl Tome and quick riposte. Since Robin is in the speed range to prevent doubles, especially if you take into account Blur Owl's effect, quick riposte is a better option than close defense or distant defense. If he's adjacent to 3 allies, then his defensive stats total at 43 and 30. If he has defense tactic and res tactic buffs on the team, then it increases to 49 and 36. He also gets 43 speed, so if you combine all of that, he's going to be an enemy phase monster. Next is Matthew, very underused unit. Again, it has a similar skill set as the Robin one, but with slight differences, but it'll function just about the same. Kagami Mochi reduces Bonfire's cooldown to 2, so if this Matthew can double the enemy on the enemy phase, he's guaranteed to proc Bonfire on the second counter hit. Bonfire will deal about 22 extra damage and even more if we include buffs. That's a lot, and Matthew definitely needs the special activation in order to one-round KO because his attack stat is on the lower side. 47 attack I would say is slightly below average. Chill speed is a nice speed slot option because it'll help him double. 40 speed alone is not enough. Dagger heroes have always been in a weird spot in the game, so it's nice to see people investing into them. Here is Planetario's Ephraim. Alright, so upgraded Sigmund guarantees double attacks as long as Ephraim is above 90% HP. That means when he fights a melee enemy, and assuming the enemy doesn't get one-shotted and gets to counterattack, Ephraim will gain 5 special charges from that fight. Gale Force pops, double Savage Blow pops, and chips the surrounding enemies for 14 damage. Ephraim also moves 1 space forward because of lunge, and then the player can use that extra turn to either take out one of the injured enemies or use that extra turn to retreat if all the matchups are unfavorable. This set doesn't have longevity compared to the Aether builds, but for Arena that doesn't really matter. This set can take out 2 units in 1 turn while chipping the rest, which gives the allies an easier time to one-round KO. So basically you can sweep the entire team in 1 turn pretty easily with this guy. I actually had the same idea with Lunge, Heavy Blade, and Gale Force for my Cherche, but the problem when I did it was that Cherche just kept one-shotting units, so I couldn't get the Gale Force activation. So yeah, basically the problem was that my Cherche was just too strong. Anyways, great Ephraim build. So I want to use this Marth to show as an example that you don't always have to go for the big boy effect refinement. The Mighty Stomp gave Marth the plus resistance refinement, and it's the best refinement option for what he's trying to accomplish. He's trying to increase his Marth's resistance so he can effectively use ploy abilities. Marth naturally only has 23 resistance, so getting it up to 34 is really something. He's able to get his resistance up to 34 from being summoner supported, Fury, and the resistance refinement on his Falchion. Defense play makes him stronger, attack play and guard makes him tankier, and he can still be a Falchion medic on the side thanks to Falchion's renewal effect and Ardent Sacrifice. His stats are actually really nice to look at least 34 in every single stat. Up next is Togepi's Catria, an unusual player face set, but I like the Stray Blow option here. Catria is a blue unit, so her main targets are reds. Reds have some of the fastest units in the game like Ira and Mia, so sometimes 44 speed isn't even enough to double them. But that's when chill speed comes into play. Let's say she's put on a mixed team with home speed buff, then with the debuff from chill speed included, it's like she has 55 speed. So chill speed obviously blocks her from inheriting desperation. That's not a problem because she has pretty good physical bulk. It's about 80 if we add HP and defense together. Sturdy Blow increases her physical bulk by 4 when she initiates combat. That way she doesn't really need desperation. She can just rely on her defense stat. Now that I think about it, Bonfire with Armor Blow would be pretty cool as an alternative. 40 defense and 52 attack on initiation with a guaranteed Bonfire activation on every single hit. However, this set with Aether and Sturdy Blow is better for arena scoring. Last hero is Sharena, Slaying Lance, Luna, Speed Defense Bond, Chill Speed, Attack Smoke, and Close Defense. Alright, so this set requires proper positioning and management. You need to make sure Sharena is adjacent to an ally before entering combat. If there are speedy enemies, then you have to make sure that the enemy that she's fighting is inflicted by chill speed. With Speed Defense Bond, she has 40 speed, which is good enough for preventing doubles, but it's not good enough for doubling. That's why chill speed is very important here. I would say Bonfire is better than Luna because on the enemy phase, she's getting 11 extra defense between Speed Defense Bond and Close Defense. But Luna isn't a bad option, and I can see why you would go with Luna. So let me explain. On the enemy phase, let's say she's next to an adjacent ally and baiting an enemy inflicted by chill speed. Sharena doubles them, and because she has Slaying Lance equipped, Luna activates on the second hit. After combat, attack smoke activates and debuffs the enemies around the area, and that kind of acts like close defense but for the player phase. So then on the player phase, chill speed activates, lowering an enemy's speed stat by 7, and with proper positioning, Sharena can do the same thing she did on the enemy phase but for the player phase. Just attack into a debuff foe and Luna will proc on the second hit. If he uses Sharena that way, then I can see why he went with Luna, because Bonfire doesn't get that extra damage from close defense 3 on the player phase. She's still getting about 17 extra damage with Bonfire, which is still decent, but you can definitely get more with Luna with all of the super tanky builds you see in Arena nowadays. Alright, time for some honorable mentions. I only picked 10, but there are definitely a few more that could have been added onto this list. I want to specifically talk about these two sets, so if you are in my Discord or if you follow my Twitter, you will know that I have encountered a Zelgius 2 times with a similar build. The dude had Woe Dao, Black Luna, Sturdy Blow, Bold Fighter, and Quick Impulse. It was an arena and I wasn't even paying attention to skills or anything. I used my Naui to bait him, and usually my Naui can easily take out Zelgius on the enemy phase. At that time, she was +9 merge with Steady Breath and Quick Impulse, but nope. The Zelgius destroyed my Naui, and this happened twice within 2 days. If I recall correctly, this Zelgius build can almost take out some of the tankiest blue armoring units like Gwendolyn and Effie. Those two guys barely survived, but most of the other blue units cannot survive a Black Luna Woe Dao activation. So I thought it was pretty funny that I saw these two sets. I'm not sure if you got the idea from my Twitter or my Discord. Alright, so thank you to everyone that participated in Big Boy Build 6. The next Big Boy Builds will have a theme. I'm not sure when I'll announce it yet, but it'll definitely be sometime this month. If your build was showcased in this video and you have something to add onto my analysis, then feel free to explain and comment below. Also, YouTube has been very wonky lately, so if you want to see my videos as soon as I post them, make sure to either follow my Twitter, join my Discord, or turn on the notification bell. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.